I mean, I guess one of the things that I would come back to, so, I too have had quite a few clients that have come along due to, COVID and just wanting to explore their customer practices a little bit more. And what surprised me in my sort of discussions, and I'm by far nowhere near as highly rated as you are in terms of, your service guru, expertise, is this idea of forcing the customer journey on the customer. And so, I had one particular client that essentially said, hey, look, this is what we want to do. We want to provide, results to the customer, within, hours or minutes of getting the diagnostic. And essentially the customers were saying, hey, look, I need the answer when I turn to go get it. I don't want it forced on me. I don't want you messaging me. I don't want you, sending me all sorts of information about the fact that it's ready. And, but whenever I open my app on my phone or I, go to my computer to go log in, I want the information to be there. And essentially this company kept saying, but we want to provide it to you. And so,
right, because in our world, we think immediate notification must be valued by everybody else. And there's a great example where they will set for themselves an internal KPI of notification within X number of hours. And then they'll hit it and they'll pat themselves on the back, but they will lose market share because customers are over here saying, you didn't give me the choice.
Right. So I guess that leads me back to another question, though. How do you get what I would say is the real customer's voice so that it's not overridden, one, by clients of yours, or two, it's not, also sort of formed in the way that that the client wants it to be, right? So how do you get back to that very basic, customer experience?
Yeah. The issue there is not in the voice of the customer, it's in the listening of the service provider. So the conversation is always both parts, right? We say, let's capture the voice of the customer. Yeah, but what do we do with it? So I give you an example. I met recently with a very esteemed gentleman who's been CEO of a number of hospitals here in Singapore and still very active in the population health space for the nation. And he was talking about a hospital that he took over many years ago. And there was a certain, almost an arrogance amongst the senior medical professionals. And of course, if you look at the way medical education works, you can understand perhaps, how that happens. We see it in the community. And he was concerned that the very senior medical professionals, doctors, clinicians, weren't really listening carefully to what the patients had to say. And so what he did was he went through the records of complaints. And he invited in groups about 10 complaining patients or complaining family members. And out of the 10 that he would invite, maybe 6 or 7 would come, and he'd have them come and he'd arrange some food, etc., and have them all sit, in a little semicircle. And on the other side, right behind him, he had all of his clinical directors and senior doctors sitting there waiting to hear this. And what he said to the patients was, what we need you to do is essentially scold us. Tell us the truth. Tell us what happened. Tell us how you felt. And he made very clear to all of his colleagues, you don't get to say anything. You have to sit, to listen. Now, what he also said to the patients was, see all that nice food over there? We don't get to share it with you until you tell us. So they started talking, and what happens is one starts to say what happened, then the other patient, then the other family member, and pretty soon you've got the full volume and emotion of what actually is happening to these people. And you've got the clinicians sitting there not wanting to hear this.
Right.
And at the end of the session, he turned to the clinicians and he said, now you can answer. All you can say is, thank you. And then they went and they had their food together. And he did that over and over and over again. They're legendary. They're called Scolding Sessions. But I want you to hear what it is he was modifying. Not the voice of the customer. He was modifying the listening of his colleagues. And after a certain number of sessions, they started to get it.
Sure.
Thanks for watching this video. Your dedication to serving better and caring more makes the world a better place for everyone. For more uplifting ideas, practical insights and free resources, please subscribe now.